Hey everyone. Today we're going to talk about comparing decimals, percents, and fractions because the three of them really strongly relate to each other. So we'll just review quickly about comparing fractions and percents and decimals first. So if I have 7/10 or 4/10, I can figure out which one is bigger. If my denominator is the same, I look to my numerator, and whichever one is bigger is the bigger fraction. So in this case, 7/10 is bigger than 4/10. Okay. I can also compare percents. So say my friend got 89% on their test and I got 62%. Okay, so whichever one is higher is the higher percentage. So in this case, 89 is bigger than 62, so 89% is greater than 62%. I can also compare fractions that don't have the same denominator. So I'm going to compare 5/10 and 6/20. So what I can do here really is I have two options. I can make this denominator 20, or I could make this denominator 10. In this case, I'll make this denominator as 20. So how I do that is I multiply it by 2. What I do to the bottom, I have to do the top. So I'm also going to multiply 5 times 2. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10, 10 times 2 is 20. So now I get to compare 10. I'm getting my numbers mixed up. Now I can compare 10/20 and 6/20. Again, my denominator is the same, so whichever one has the higher numerator is the bigger fraction. Okay. We can also compare fractions and decimals. So how we do that is we have to convert one to the other. So we could convert the fraction to a decimal or the decimal to a fraction. So in this case, I'll convert the decimal to a fraction here. So this is 62/100. So my fraction would be 62/100. But how am I going to compare it to 3/5? I need to make the denominator the same. So 5 multiplied by what is 100? 20. So again, I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number so that it's equivalent. Okay, if I don't multiply by the same number, if I just leave the numerator the same, then it's not equivalent. So 5 times 20 is 100, and 3 times 20 is 60. So here I can see now that, there's a little bug flying around. Now I can see that 3/5 is actually less than 62/100 because 3/5 is equivalent to 60/100. Okay, let's compare 1/2 or 38%. Okay, so again, I can convert this to whatever I want. I could convert both of them to a decimal if I really wanted. I can convert it to this to a fraction, this to a percent. Okay, so what I have to do, let's convert this one to a percent. So I have 1/2. So to get this to a percent, I have to put it out of 100. So to get to 100, I have to multiply the numerator and denominator by 50. So now I have out of 100, 1 times 50 is 50. Okay, so this would equal 50%. So 1/2 is bigger than 38% because 1/2 is equivalent to 50%. So I can also use my knowledge of fractions, decimals, and percents to order some different numbers. So let's try that out. So we're going to order these numbers. So we have 28/100, 42%, and 3/10. Okay, so in order to compare them properly, we have to convert them all to the same thing. So we could convert them to a decimal, fraction, or percent. In this case, we will go to a fraction. So this is 28/100, so my fraction here is 28/100. Okay, percents, I know that when I'm converting a percent to a fraction, I can just kind of ignore the percent sign and put it out of 100. Okay, and then I have 3/10. Well, it's kind of hard to compare 3/10 to things that are over 100. So what I have to do for this one is I have to convert it to be out of 100. So to do that, I have to multiply the top and the bottom by 10. So then I would have 30 out of 100. So when you're comparing and ordering these, it's important that you use the original number, okay? Not the fractions that you've converted it to. So I can see, okay, this one's the smallest. I'm gonna order them from least to greatest. So here's the smallest. This was my original number. So I'm gonna put 0.28. Okay, when I'm comparing them, I put a comma. That's a bad comma, but I'm gonna put a comma in between the terms. Okay, so that one's done. Okay, the next one is 30 out of 100, which was equivalent also to 3/10. So that one's done. And then, of course, my last one, well, I know it's the biggest, so 42%. So you can see here how fractions, decimals, and percents all really relate to each other, and we can convert them between each other any way we want.